HELM show. My name is Arian HELM. I am your beautiful hostess with the mostest. This episode is sponsored by Cruisin' Productions. Cruisin' Productions has t-shirts, hoodies, jackets, and even custom design wear. Cruisin' Productions is a mix between streetwear and misfit clothing. The brand started in summer of 2017, and you can go follow Cruisin' Productions on Twitter, Instagram, and even check out their website. On the last two episodes, I have been getting non-stop compliments on my outfit, and that outfit I was styled by Miss Nia. I'm going to place Nia's info, her Instagram and her Twitter. Sis be styling her ass off, so yes, y'all go follow her and go support. Today for Shady Time, I do want to discuss the whole entrepreneur versus 9-to-5 debate. I see tweets about this all the time on Twitter, and this past week I seen a lot of tweets. I don't know what was going on, but it was a whole bunch of going back and forth about entrepreneurship and working a 9-to-5. Basically, a lot of the tweets I was seeing was saying that you should use a 9-to-5 to support your entrepreneurial dreams. And to me, that isn't what entrepreneurship is about. If you fully understand and know what entrepreneurship means and what it's about, then you would know that going to work a 9-to-5 and going to supply someone else's dream when you could be putting into your craft, it just means the opposite. So when I see people get on Twitter or get on Instagram or Snapchat or get on these videos and they say things like you have to work a 9-to-5 to support yourself and you don't want to just be out here struggling, that's the thing about entrepreneurship. You are going to struggle. So an entrepreneur is someone who thinks and does things differently. They see a lane, they study it, and they create new opportunities within that lane. So for me, personally, y'all know I can speak personally on myself. I see media, I love media, but I don't like certain things that go on in media. So that's why I created my own. I created my own talk show. I created my own media subscription company. However, not everyone is meant to be an entrepreneur. Not everyone is meant to work a 9-to-5. There's pros and cons for both, to be honest. You should know what's best for you. You should know what you like. Some of us don't like to be told what to do. Some of us don't want to wake up and be repetitive every day. And then on the flip side, there are people who enjoy going to a 9-to-5. They're doing things that they love. They enjoy going to work. They enjoy fellowshipping with people. You know what it is about this generation and them like bashing 9-to-5s. Like most of y'all's parents work 9-to-5s. If a 9-to-5 isn't for you, do not bash it. You can't bash 9-to-5s because potentially, eventually, you're going to be the one having employees who are working that 9-to-5 for you, for your company. So do not bash it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just two different types of mindsets. According to the dictionary, an entrepreneur is a person who organizes and operates a business or businesses taking a greater than normal financial risk in order to do so. And that is literally the most perfect definition ever. So let's break it down. So as a person who owns and operates a business, of course, that's what entrepreneur is. You're creating your own lane, creating your own business. I love that they put in there taking a greater than normal financial risk in order to do so. When you are an entrepreneur, you don't know how the next day will go. You don't know how the next month will go. You don't know how the next week will go. Especially when you're, first starting out as an entrepreneur and, freshly starting your business. You don't know what's going to go on. You could sell 20 shirts today and not sell another one tomorrow. It happens like that. So you're taking financial risk, and that's the important part about being an entrepreneur. And that is why an entrepreneur cannot work a 9-to-5 because you don't mind taking financial risk. You don't mind missing out on a few things. And as an entrepreneur, you're going to have to miss out on a lot. You're going to have to budget some things. You're going to have to save some things. You're going to have to do a lot of different things to accommodate putting your all into your craft. And that's the promise that you're making to your business or whatever it is that you want to thrive. That is the difference between an entrepreneur and a 9-to-5. Taking financial risk and doing whatever it takes to get there. I talked about Tyler very briefly in the first episode, his joining with BET. I love listening to Tyler's motivational videos, and his Oprah's Masterclass interview was greatness. In fact, I'm going to just link it underneath so y'all can go check it out. But it took him 6-7 years. I think, don't quote me on this, Tyler, if you do happen to see this in a few years. So in 1992, he started his plays. He saved up enough money to make his plays, and in 1998 was the first play that actually put him on the map, y'all. He said he saved up $12,000 in 1992 to put on this play that seated 1,200 people. Only 30 people showed up, and the 30 people that came was the 30 people he knew. Financial risk. Are you willing to take the risk like, oh, okay, well, only 30 people showed up. I was hoping for 1,200. I dropped 12 bands on this project. Okay, well, let me do it again next year. And that's what he did. Every year he put out a play. Are you willing to invest so much into your business that you are going to keep producing content? Are you going to keep producing merchandise? Do you love your business enough? If you don't, then entrepreneurship might not be the thing for you. And for me personally, I knew that I could not work a 9 to 5 because I personally seen what it did to people. I personally seen in my own household and in other people's household, people were drained coming off work. They didn't want to do anything because they spent all of their day, all of their week at this job that 9 times out of 10 it makes you crazy, it makes you lose your mind. And I appreciate 9 to 5 because my mom and my dad, they did the best that they could for me. I love my upbringing. I don't have any complaints about my upbringing at all whatsoever. My mom and dad, they really blessed me. I seen firsthand how tired they were of going to that job. My dad retired actually fairly early just because he was sick of being at that job, and I didn't want that to be me. Another thing I did not like about 9 to 5s is they're predictable. When I worked at Picture, which isn't necessarily a 9 to 5, but it's a job. It's a job I went to almost every single day for 3 years, and it drained me. Customers draining me. Like mentally, emotionally, like I swear I was ready to smoke 10 cigarettes every day after leaving that job. And I don't smoke cigarettes. Ew, I would rather choke, okay? And I could not imagine that being me, going to work at this job that's killing me, killing my patience, killing my attitude, just draining the life out of me. I could not imagine me going to that job all the way until I retire. And retirement, what? People retire around 60, some people 70. Can you imagine? No. And that's okay. Some people actually love what they do. I use Quick as an example because that's the longest job that I've ever had. But there's people that wake up in the morning, they're going to do things that they love. And lastly, the thing that I just do not agree with about the whole 9 to 5 thing is that they give you rewards such as like raises and promotions, but there's a cap on how much you want to make. I know I'm destined to be a billionaire, and I'm saying that confidently because you'll see. I can look back on these clips in a few years and y'all see. But I know I can't do that there. What's your cap? The cap might be $60,000 a year. It might be $500,000 a year, but there's still a cap on how much you can make. And to me, I'm worth more than $500,000. My time is worth more than $500,000. There are people out there who are going to work for these companies and corporations who are talented. And they're giving these people their time and only making what? $60,000, $70,000, $89,000, and that's fine. And actually that's fine. If you prefer that and you don't mind it, that is fine. But to me, I feel like people should be getting paid more. If I'm going to my job every single day for maybe 3 years and I've mastered the job, you're telling me that you're only going to give me $1,000 more? Maybe I'm going to do $5,000 more in a raise. Like my time is only all that time that I have spent at this office. Sometimes your job and your career sees you more than your family does. So you mean to tell me that my time is only worth $5,000 more? I don't agree with that personally, but there's people out there who don't mind that. That's just me talking. Like I said in the beginning, you have to think differently as an entrepreneur. You have to think, how can I get my content, how can I get my merchandise, my content, whatever that you're doing, how can I get that out there efficiently, but also cost effective? Because you're only working for yourself when you first make it. Like when you first get into the business or entrepreneur business, or when you first start your business and one like that, unless you just got like that, you probably don't have enough money to do everything that you want to do. How are you going to finesse it as to where you are still putting out content, still putting out merchandise with your budget? You have to think about that as an entrepreneur. A lot of people don't last as entrepreneurs because it's too much work. And if you don't love that thing enough to where you're going to be investing your time and your money and everything of that nature, then entrepreneurship might not be the thing for you. Tyler Perry got his first break after 6 years of doing those plays. And I mean, you could say it was a failure, but I don't think it was a failure. I think it's a lesson. Entrepreneurship is a journey. It's a slow journey. It's a marathon. It's definitely not a race. It's a marathon. You have to keep going, keep going, keep going. And you're definitely going to struggle. You're definitely going to struggle throughout that experience. You're definitely going to have some hardship. You're definitely going to have to think outside the box. Are you ready for that? And if the question is no, if you don't have enough love for your business or your craft, then this might not be the thing for you. There are things called bosses. You can be a boss. You can go to 9 to 5 and be a boss, okay? And you make good bread at that. I came across this article for entrepreneurs on minoritymindset.com, and I love the 3 points that they made about entrepreneurship. Their first point was understanding the industry, and I think that is very important. Before you go into any lane, any industry, you need to be doing your research, period. You need to be knowing who did it before you, why they did it before you, what can you add, what value do you add to that industry? That's very important. Like, what is your value? How can you change the industry? I feel like all these things you should be researching. How does your business pop compared to others? Like, how are you standing out in the industry? How will you make your impact in the industry? The second point that they made was you have to be legally, morally, and ethically sound. When you're working as an entrepreneur, your business is going to reach people. Is your business ethical? Is it legal? Is it moral? Does it mess with your morals? If so, then if you're going to have to stick it out for you some years, I don't know if that's a good lane for you if it messes with you morally. Third is so important. There will be competitors. There is so many people out there who probably have talk shows, and I'm going up against them. How can I stand out? How can I make the Arian HELM show better? What is my content about? What does my set look like? How do I present myself as a talk show host? All of these things are taken into account, and they are thought about every single day. Let's say you have a t-shirt design business. There are plenty of t-shirt design. I know at least 10 people right now who have t-shirt design business. Marketing correctly? Are you branding yourself correctly? Because although we like to say, oh, your brand is different from your business, as you can see in social media, people always associate the two. So how is your brand and your business sticking out? They coincide with one another. They definitely coincide with one another. So what's the difference? Anybody else outworking you in the t-shirt business? Are you being innovative? Are you going on the latest trends? Are you going in the popular direction? Like, what are you doing so that you can stand out against your competitors? That is very much so important, because everybody wants their business to pop, but like, what are you doing to make sure that it pops? Food for thought. And like one of my favorite motivational speakers said, E.T., if you don't know who Eric Thomas is, you are living under a rock and you need to wake up. So E.T. basically said you have to have some dog in you. If you ain't got no dog in you, then this ain't the thing for you. Entrepreneurship isn't for you. You gotta have dog, okay? Because waking up every day, every week, I don't want to do this show sometimes. I don't be in the right good headspace. I don't be feeling like it. I be feeling like I want to go do other things. Fight with my mental and everything else that's going on in the world. I'm still going to come up here. Y'all still going to get a show every week. Okay? Because I'm going to keep fighting. It gets hard. I told y'all last episode about everything that could have possibly went wrong that did. And I still got up there and I still got y'all a show. I did not like the quality of the sound. I did not like the quality of the video. But I still gave it to y'all. Because I know that one day in the future, if I keep working on my editing, if I keep working on my lighting, if I keep working on my sound, if I keep working on these things, then one day I will have a production, y'all. I will be on a set. And like I said last time, so you have to start somewhere to get to another place. So like E.T. said, do you have that dog in you? Are you willing to fight for this? This isn't something that you don't just start a business like, oh, it's a business. You have to work. You have people that you have to satisfy. You have employees that you have to have. You have business that you have to take care of behind the scene. You have to do some things legally. Like, it takes a lot. Do you have the dog in you to finish? Are you a quitter? Don't quit. No matter how much you love your business, will you quit it? No matter the adversity that you experience or the difficulties that come your way, because it will be difficulties. I keep stressing it enough. It will be difficulties. And I'm going to use him as an example again. But look at Tyler Perry now. Millions. His own studio. A happy wife. Happy life. He's put out multiple plays. Multiple movies. He's an award-winning producer, director, and actor. But you gotta have some dog in you. So to all my entrepreneurs out there, keep on working, keep fighting. This is the sign, this is the message to keep going. Have some dog in you. You did not get this far to quit. You only gonna get better. You can only get better. You can only learn and improve your business, yourself, all of that. It can only get better. Today on the Arian HELM Show, I have the legend, the GOAT, Robb 5 times. How are you today?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. So I'm honored to have you on the show because you are just very busy, very sought after. Like you have a lot going on.
I'm appreciate the gas, but thank you.
Okay. So so today I just want to go from the beginning to now.
For sure.
Like let's walk through it all.
Okay.
So How did you get into filming, and how did you get into the media world?
I stopped playing basketball, and I went to LA Film School in Hollywood in 2017. Took classes there, just set classes, and then from then on, I kind of just like networked with myself on movie sets, and from there, it's just kind of like, who can you meet, who can you talk to? It's a competitive world out there, so you just have to find a way to separate yourself and just kind of make yourself stand out.
Okay. So, where did your passion for media and film come from? Like, how did you develop that hunger and that passion?
Well, in school, I was always a character, so like people, I was kind of like the class clown. So, but I hooped too though, so it was kind of hard because if I got in trouble, they would always tell my coach or something like that. But people always told me I should be like in theater or like, in movies, and I was just like, nah, it's a type thing. But it was one of those things where, life happens and you kind of have to just find your way a little bit. And I was just like, well, I'm not working a 9 to 5, so I'm trying to find something I could, flourish in, kind of, move up in. So, entertainment, whatever the case may be, whether it be stand-up comedy, movies, music videos, anything like that, I just kind of found my way into movies and just kind of took it from there.
Okay. So, how did 5 times ENT? Where did that come in the equation?
It's crazy. It actually became a motivation with On the Go Up because, I was working with them. And shout out to Matt.
Can you tell us what my viewers don't know? They might not know what On the Globe is.
Yes.
What's On the Globe?
On the Globe is a, I wouldn't say it's a lot of things. Basically, it's a creative, what's the word I can use? Give me a hint. Creative collective. It's more than it's more than what it is, though. It's more than what it is, but like, we make music videos, they do interviews with just different artists.
It's just a media platform.
Yeah, a big, very, very big time media platform, but it focuses more like on underground rappers and underground artists around the DFW because it's like we have a lot of talent.
Yes.
And Dallas Fort Worth that really goes unnoticed, and they help, put them out there. You know what I'm saying? So me, I was always working with them, whenever I was in town and things like that, but I was in LA, so it was kind of hard for me to be, like stable what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I created 5XENT to make like another branch, to always work with them. And on the movie side, they've always helped me with my, my short films and any of the videos I've always done. So I just kind of like talked to them and got with them and was like, hey, I want to be able to do this with y'all just on my own branch, but we always work together. And they were like, yeah, let's do it. So it was pretty dope. We do a lot of great work together. So, they're my bros, so it's always pretty good.
And so what all services does 5XENT do? Like, what do y'all do?
Everything, really. Documentaries, short films, movies, music videos. I really just turned into an agency now, so I represent a couple, athletes: Curtis Hollis, Rocket Ismail, Andrew Glover, Spencer Owens. So these are, people that are D1 or playing professionally. So, I'm trying to make it all, an all-base, nationality brand. So from whether that's music videos or movies or an agency, just anything, I kind of want to be like well-rounded.
So it's like a talent agency.
Correct. Basically, yeah, for sure.
All Grace Gone 1 and 2.
Yes.
The go. So All Grace Gone 1 was crazy.
Yeah.
It was.
You were
I loved
it.
it. Yeah, I was in.
You were in it for sure.
That was crazy. So how did you come up with that script?
Oh, actually, that happened to me.
Oh.
That's my story. I just changed the names. Actually,
are you okay? I'm just.
No, I mean, it happened. Stuff happened, but that's actually my story, kind of. Just a couple things like switched up, but that's actually happened to me. Growing up, DFW, everything's pretty small, so everybody knows everybody. So that happened to me.
That's crazy. Yeah. That even everything happened, like
pretty much, yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. That's crazy.
And so it really was the same thing. And then from the second one, I just kind of just brainstormed after that, obviously. But the concept just happened just based off what happened to me. So I was like, what's the best way? I don't rap or anything like that, but I want to be able to tell stories not through rap. I could do it in films, and I just did it through short films.
Wow, I would never guess that because that was crazy. That was a lot going on.
How do you think I felt when it happened? Long time, like 2016.
Oh wow. Okay, so getting into the behind the scenes of All Grace Gone, when it came to casting actors and producing and directing, where did you stem from? Like, how did you learn how to do all of that?
Well, the film school, they kind of teach you, how to put a team together and everything like that. So like with Matt and On the Go Up and Bobby and some other people that I work with, I've already worked with them separately. And so it's kind of one of those things where I was like, let's just collab and get an all-star cast type deal. And so I had came to him and I was like, I kind of want to be a director because in school, that's what I'm going to school for, and to be a director, you have to have your own content and everything like that. So I came to him, I was like, hey, because they're in the music videos and Bobby was in the movies, and so I was like, okay, well, let's just all get together. You know, even though Matt and on the go, they were focusing strictly on music videos. Movies is the same thing, just different coverages and cuts. Bobby's an actor and he's my first AD, he's like my right hand. He's an actual actor and and does movies himself. So when we came on, we've been knowing each other since like middle school too. So it was really easy to connect and kind of work. So the fact that I hit everybody up on the production side of it was pretty dope. So it was all with it and we just had fun. And then the casting, I don't do no auditions. I just hit people up that I want. I just kind of like have an eye for it.
Because you're Robb Morris.
It ain't even that. It's just like I just have a certain eye, and I feel like if I give you the opportunity, and I'm like, hey, I feel like you can do it, and I come to you with the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the point of hosting auditions? Or if I already have a look for somebody, and I'm like, she can do it, even though she may not be an actor here, he may not be an actor. I'm like, we gonna work with you. You know what I'm saying? Because you may never know once you get to doing it, that's something you could probably want to do in the future. So.
That's lit, and everybody did a good ass job.
Yeah, it's dope. Yeah, it was pretty dope to watch.
Okay, so your dad has a book, The Mountains Behind, and you are directing and producing some content for him.
Correct.
Tell us a little bit more about that. Or when's the release day?
He ran literally we just like got done shooting the last coverage for it 2 days ago, right when I flew back in. So it's done. It's got to have a little more editing, but it's gonna come out pretty soon. Right now, that'll be my best one yet.
Okay, so sure. As like the son of the author, how does it feel like to be producing content for your dad? Like that's crazy. That's right?
Different, yeah, because it's a touchy. The story is pretty touchy. I don't want to kind of tell the story right now because it's a sensitive story. So when I was writing the script and I was like we were shooting it, I wanted to make sure that like it was very top on from how everything happened. Of course, obviously it was in the 70s, so everything around it is not like obviously 70s life, like they make it modern day, but from the time we directed it and filmed it or whatever, he was impressed with it and how I did it and everything like that. So just his approval itself, at that point I'm just fine and content with it as long as he's happy, because it was something I want to do for him. So if he's happy, I'm happy, and I hope when it drops that everybody will like it, because right now it's our best one yet. So
I'm excited. I love All Grades Done. Part two is my favorite, of course.
Of course.
So was he like hands on, like he was actually on set, or how did that come out?
He was on set for one of the scenes we shot on one of the locations, but other than that, he was, he let me do my thing, he let me work. I kind of told him, he bugs me all the time. He calls me, he's like, hey, when's the drop? Is it ready? I'm like, shh.
It's exciting. His son is doing big things out here. That's exciting.
No, yeah, it's gonna be good. So like I said, I just want to make sure when Bobby, all the people that's editing it and everybody like that take their time, and it's gonna look good. Everybody's gonna like. I think it's gonna probably open up a lot of eyes and be like, well, we did this in Arlington, So I just want to be able to be like, yeah, Arlington's like a film market. So yeah.
Okay, so you talk about putting Arlington on the map all the time. First off, what part of Arlington are you from?
From the south side. Come on, I'm from the south, Langston.
So what is your legacy that you want to leave on Arlington? Like, what do you want people to think of when they think of Arlington, Texas, when you make it?
I just want people to know, I just don't like when people, they come from a city and they're like, hey, I'm from here and here, shout out to them. And, one of my biggest inspirations was Nipsey. He was one of the reasons why I moved to LA, so I went out to LA in 2016 just to visit, and, I would hear his music, it would put me in that California vibe. So every time I would come back from California, I would play Nipsey, I was like, man, I need to be there, because he would always say there's a gold rush in California. There's always a gold rush in California. But what I want to do, California's a place to be. And I've been in some great positions. I've been in some big time stuff. And I have some big time stuff coming.
I see on Instagram.
Yeah, just from being out there. I got a lead role in a pilot. I'm saying it's with Fox, and just USC, and just a lot of different things that I do out there. So just the fact that I'm able just to put myself in that position and just kind of just excel and move up, I'm really very cool and blessed with that.
Oh, solid. Okay, so you talk about all these projects, and from what I see on social media, you're always busy. What does your free time consist of? If you have any.
Usually when I get to free time, I just like to hoop. I still I gotta work out. Most directors I see nowadays, they're big and fat. I don't want to be big and fat. I try to at least go work out every day. So I either work out or I'm watching Netflix or hooping. That's really my free time. I love to eat, so I'm always eating.
So are we gonna get a movie or something about hooping? Maybe a
the movie, the show that I just finished. It's called Take It to the Hoop. I'm literally the main character, and it's about a hooper.
Okay.
Literally. So no, it's coming.
And when is that coming out?
I'll put a little clip on. I'm not supposed to release it because I'll get the full episode next Saturday, because the premiere is next Sunday in Hollywood. So I'll get the actual footage. I'm only allowed to post a certain amount of clips, but you'll see it on the gram in like 2 weeks.
Okay.
So no, it's pretty dope. It's pretty dope. I'm excited to release it.
Okay. So who besides your family is your biggest influence? Who do you look to in the media, film industry?
And Spike Lee, for sure.
Spike, oh
Yeah, definitely Spike Lee. Everybody.
What's your favorite Spike Lee?
Honestly, I
School
really
Days for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say School Days. I didn't want to be biased to that, but I love all his projects. To be honest, like it's one of those things where I just can't really just pick one because like he has so. If it's School Days, it'll probably be the one. But I love every project by Spike Lee, only for the fact that he keeps everything raw, and that's how I want to be. You know, I don't want to like sugarcoat anything. I want it real from the lingo to how people act, how girls really are, how dudes really are. Like, I want it to hit like when people watch it, they're like, oh, that's really what happens. You know, so. Definitely Spike Lee. I like, just Spike Lee.
I was saying, it's for the culture.
Other than Spike Lee, Drake. But I'm a big Drake fan.
Drake?
Yeah, I'm a big
Really?
Even though he's not in the film industry.
I was just going to say, I didn't know he was out here, but I knew about Degrassi. Did you watch Degrassi?
Yeah, I like Degrassi. Come on now. Degrassi.
I didn't watch it.
What's your Jimmy now? Come on now. He actually came out with a producer show on Netflix called Top Boy that I'm actually watching right now. It's pretty good. You should go check it out for sure.
Okay, so lastly, any advice to any struggling actors, directors, producers out there who are struggling to get their content out there? What advice would you give them to maybe marketing or branding or anything along that lines?
Really just you got to keep going and believe in yourself, because it's like a lot of people are going to tell you that you can't really do anything. It's like, why wait for somebody to like give you something when you can go out there and just create it on your own? And that's what I try to do with 5 Big. It's like I'm trying to pitch to certain companies, I'm trying to pitch to certain labels, and it's like, why am I sitting here waiting on an answer from somebody, pitching to somebody, where if you have people that support you and people that are doing the same thing around, you can do it yourself. And it's just like, people respect you more when you're putting out your own stuff rather than, it's in certain situations are different. I'm not gonna lie, because when I first started, I tried to like, hey, look at this, I'm trying to get pitched, boom, 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 but I started, realizing like if you have a support system, you have a platform, you're able to do a lot of things on your own and create your own. So it's just like, it's not always going to be easy. At first, it's kind of dry because people don't know what you're about. Once they see consistency and, they follow what you do, it really, the support comes from that. And they want to see, everybody wants to see everybody do good in some type of capacity. What it is, I don't want to ever see nobody I rock with down, so if I can support them, whatever they're doing, even if it's like a retweet or a like or just somewhere to get their stuff noticed. It just goes off. You never know who's on your page or who's looking out or who's watching. So I just try to support everybody like they support me. So.
And also being an entrepreneur, you need to have as much content as possible.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
That's your resume. You need to have an extensive resume.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, they want to see experience. So if you don't have experience, you can be a good person, all you want to be nice to that, but they also want to know what you're doing. So you just gotta work hard. That's one of the things I figured out. Just staying consistent and work hard, and then it's not always gonna be easy, but it's worth it in the long run.
Yes, as we see.
Okay.
So let the people know how to reach you. What's your Instagram? What's your Twitter? What's your company's Instagram and Twitter as well?
And it's Robb 5X on everything. Just 2 B's, everybody, 2 B's. But it's Robb 5X on everything. At Instagram it's 5X Entertainment, 5X ENT. At all the Glow Media. So that's where you can reach us at.
Alright, and I want to thank you for coming on the show.
Appreciate you for having me.
Honored. And
I flew in really just for this, honestly.
No, yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. It's appreciated.
Sure,
and
definitely.
I wish you the best on all your endeavors. I know y'all will be seeing him very soon on your screen, or maybe his projects on your screen as well. So y'all go support. I'll have all of his info in the bio. And yes, thank you for coming on the
Appreciate it.
show.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it. Thank you.
So today, for Know Your Rights, we are going to talk about your rights as a tenant in Texas as it pertains to evictions. In Texas, a landlord must provide 3 days notice to vacate a property before filing eviction when there is a non-payment or a breach of a lease. However, if you do receive a notice of eviction, you do not have to leave your apartment at that moment. Like, it doesn't mean that you're actually evicted. It means you might get your things together. I'm just playing. Does not mean that you are actually being evicted. Eviction is only handled in the court systems. As a renter, you have the right to be on property until the court gives their final say-so on whether you're guilty or not guilty of eviction. And plan on fighting the eviction notice. You have the right to stay on property until the court reaches its decision. The landlord cannot remove any of your belongings. They can't come and, throw all your things outside and all that extraness. They have to wait until a court of law gives their appeal. That's some information on evictions. I'm going to try to talk about landlord and tenant rules because college living is a scam. When I tell you they are scamming out here, they are scamming. And I know too many people who have been affected by evictions and whatnot, and you might not know what to do. Today for Know Your Candidate 2020 edition, I will be talking about Mr. Bernie Sanders, who is currently 77 years old. This is his second time running for the presidential election. He ran back in 2016 against Ms. Hillary Clinton, and he only got 43% of the popular vote. He was a member of the U.S. House, and he also served in Congress. And Mr. Bernie Sanders identifies himself as a Democrat socialist. His policies for the 2020 campaign include Medicare for all. He supports the Green New Deal, $15 minimum wage, limiting the size of banks, free college, and wealth tax on millionaires and billionaires. So that's a little bit about Mr. Bernie Sanders and some of the policies that he plans to implement if he does become president. Today, for Science to Bring Real Music Back Records, I have Mr. Luke Edgemon, and he is signed on the dotted line. He is based out of LA, California, and my boy be singing, y'all. Like, let's get into it.
I know better days are coming. I know better days. Oh, yeah. Better days are
Okay, here goes the third one, y'all.
Give it all to
Sir.
To me.
Luke, I can't take it. When people are singing like that, I just can't take it, y'all. Like, I'd be ready to throw something at them. Like, Luke, why? Luke done got my blood pressure up. Sang Luke. I'm gonna link his Instagram in the description box below so y'all can watch his Instagram videos because he just be blessing on the timeline. And it's what I love to see. It's what I love to see. That concludes another episode of season 2. Episode 3 is one for the book. I want to thank Robb for coming by. He has such great things in store for him, and God has been blessing him, and I love to see it. I love to see it. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, all of those good things for this episode. And yes, that is a wrap. Bye.